Alrighty, guys, welcome in. Good to have you back. I'm going to give everybody a couple seconds here to get connected before we dive right in and get things started. So bear with me just a moment while we make sure we are up and running and live here. Looking good. All right. So, how's everybody's week this week? It was intense over at the service center. I mean, the end of the month is always that way. A lot of we're pushing to get things out the door, to get things picked up. The normal business reasons for that. But building. Lots of computers coming in. We got 20 cases in for basically desktop computers. We got to get all those built for inventory. We sold a ton of computers this week, so we have to replenish the inventory in the other service centers pretty much as fast as we were building the computers. They were going out the door to the other service centers to replenish their inventories. And that's from the Papillion Service Center. And my son was actually in to help build because we needed hands. And so he said, "Okay, Dad, I'll come in and build." And so we said, "Okay, come on in and build." So he did, and he's doing an amazing job. He's 14 years old. It's his first real attempt at a job. As a result, you don't really know what to expect, right? But he's taking it very seriously, and he is coming in and doing his thing and making sure that he's got all of his stuff right. So when we put the wireless cards in desktops, there's a cable that goes from the wireless card to some pins inside on the motherboard, and that makes the Bluetooth work because all of our modular desktops now come with Bluetooth, and that's how that works. Is there's a wire that connects it. So the wire, the card, and the antennas and everything, and he pulls all that out of the box, and then he throws the box in the trash, and he forgot that the wire was in the box. So, and I would have done this to any of my employees. He realizes, okay, and for some reason, at that particular moment, Jeff, who normally wouldn't do this, notices the trash can happens to be full and just decides, that trash can's full, I'm taking that out to the dumpster, and takes the trash out, dumps it into the dumpster, which had just been emptied by the trash truck. So it was a completely empty dumpster. He dumps the can in, brings the can back in. 2 computers later, my son is putting in the wire for the card, and it hits him. Oh, damn, I didn't put a wire in that previous computer. He goes and he checks, and he goes, "Oh, it doesn't have a wire." Because we do a double check, and they were basically stacked up, and Jeff was doing the double checks. He'd have caught it eventually. But Jacob realized that the wire was in the box, and the box was now in the dumpster. So, guess what we did? First time ever, my son got to go dumpster diving. That's right. So literally, he had to jump into the dumpster, and I was going to get in and get it for him because I didn't want to make my own kid go in the dumpster, but then I thought to myself, how am I going to get out of the dumpster once I'm in the dumpster? Yeah, he's youthful and, whatever. He can go in the dumpster. So he jumps in the dumpster, and he gets in there, and he looks down, and he goes, "Oh, man, is that cheese?" And I'm like, oh, gosh, that's so nasty, right? No, apparently there was an American slice of cheese that had just it's been in there so long, it's very, very hard. He jumped in and he landed on it, and it didn't break or dent or anything. He's like, oh, that's so nasty. But he got the cable that he needed, got him out of the dumpster cleanly, switched through some snow with his shoes before he came back into the service center. And now that computer has Bluetooth. If you would like to purchase the dumpster computer, no, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, it's just it's an example of, at home, it's so weird, right? So at work, kid will jump in a dumpster to get a cable back because he made a mistake. At home, Jacob, take the trash to the curb, and he forgets the recycle bin. Jacob, bring the cans up from the curb, and he brings them up to the garage, but he doesn't put them in the backyard. And then we put one can over by the deck in the backyard, so when it's cold and snowy and we have a bag of trash, we don't have to walk clear around the house to the trash cans. We can kind of just chuck it into the can off the deck, right? There's no can there. Or, Jacob, bring the can over to the deck. So he brings the can to the deck, but there's trash on the deck because the can wasn't there, and the trash is still on the deck. And you're just like, it's right there. So it's amazing because, I told my wife how good he was doing, and she was just like, who is this child? He's a good kid. That's what he is. He's a good kid. And like any good teenage kid, he's got priorities, and sometimes those are Fortnite, and sometimes they're work. But he did come to me and tell me that he wanted to save a portion of his work earnings in Bitcoin. So he had me get him a Bitcoin wallet, and basically This is one of the weaknesses of the Bitcoin network right now. The fees are incredibly high because of all the interest in Bitcoin. So if my son works, for example, for a number of hours, and let's say he gets paid and he wants to take $30 of his paycheck and buy Bitcoin. For me to send him $30 worth of Bitcoin costs me $60 in Bitcoin, just for the fee. So I had to tell him, son, normally when you have a job, you wait 2 weeks to get paid. So you're going to have to wait 2 weeks, and you're going to get one transfer of all the Bitcoin that you wanted to buy from the week. Okay? And so he was like, all right, that's fine. So he's gonna go that route. But he's got his own Bitcoin wallet now, and he's pretty excited about that. And he's saving his Bitcoin up. He's decided he wants to save some of his work money up now and buy an Oculus Rift virtual reality thing. They came out with the Rift 2. And he wants to pick that up so he can have it mobile and everything. And he's excited about it. And the thing is, he's excited about being productive and excited about learning what he can do. The other day he said, Dad, it's just really weird to have money. Like, I've never had money in my life. He gets $14 every 2 weeks, and in a single day he earned $82. And he's like, Dad, this is just crazy to me. And I'm like, well, it's fleeting, buddy. Trust me. Once it's gone, it's gone. So don't spend it all. Save some. So he started buying some Bitcoin. I'm pretty proud of the kid. All right, let's see who's listening today. Mitch, welcome aboard. Greg, Randy, the alien has arrived. Randy Anderson, you're an alien? Loud and clear, says Richard. Oh, the stream is so much better today, guys, isn't it? It's like, this is the difference between having the mask on or the double mask on and having no mask on, right? We have 30 megabits per second upstream right now. Just because I didn't want to tempt fate, I didn't jack up the video settings, so we're still streaming a little bit slower than I would like, but the entire Compute This program, we had 0 dropped frames for an hour of video, whereas the week before we were dropping 15% of our frames, meaning for every time the computer was trying to send an image of me doing something, there was a 15% chance basically that frame was not going to get through. It was stupid. So I'm glad it's so much better this morning. Thanks to the engineers at KFAB. They took it super serious. I'm on a wired connection directly to the modem at the KFAB studio. I'm not cutting through their network. We're not going through filters or switches or anything. We're straight from the broadcast center to your living room. Now on the news. All right, let's see. Morning, Schrockville. Coffee's on. That's right here. Winston, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know the audio is looking good. Karen and Roger are here. Top fans. Good to have you guys. Good morning. Is the rumor true regarding you are offering free labor on February 30th? I have not heard that rumor. I have no comment on that rumor. I'm going to be in Cancun on February 30th, actually. So, good morning, Thor. Good morning, Mary. Good to have you. Bryce, good morning. Do you still have the 2020 Resolute laptops available? I think I'll need one of those. I believe so. Let me double check on the website here real quick. They are entry-level laptops, and I was trying to walk a fine line on the show. Obviously, I wouldn't be selling a piece of equipment that is not good, because we don't want returns. We don't want to take things back. But I also want to be completely transparent that this is an entry-level laptop. If you're going to try to work from home from this thing, you're going to be disappointed. If you're going to do something like that, you need an Intrepid or a Gallant. This is the entry-level laptop for grandma who checks email. That's literally what this is. We have to have one. Everybody's got one. We have one too. But let me pull that up here on our website for you and check and see how many. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love you, Kara. Sorry. Side note there. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, what happened to Kimberly? No. Kara is our SEO person that basically makes sure that when we search for things, the appropriate things pop up. And I just did a DuckDuckGo search for 2020 Resolute. And the first link that came up, Schrock Innovations. Love it. That doesn't happen naturally, guys. That's something you have to actually do. You have to program that. And then to have it happen on Duck, no less. I know she's been focusing on some of the alternative search engines lately. We have 7 in stock. Looks like we've sold 2, so we have 7 in stock at $479. You can purchase them online. You can upgrade the memory, or excuse me, you can upgrade the hard drive. So it comes with a 120, which is a smaller hard drive. You can upgrade the hard drive if you want. It's about $50 to, or it's $150 to double it, and it's basically another $100 to double it again to 500 gigs. But basically, you can increase the size of that hard drive if you want to, but the memory, the actual RAM, the RAM in the computer is fixed at 4 gig. That's how it is. And the new one, it'll be fixed at 4 gig too. We have a new model coming out. The new model's got a lot of the new, more modern features. It's pretty much the same processor, exactly the same memory, a little bit faster memory. It's got a fingerprint reader. It's got a backlit keyboard. The screen. It's a thin bezel like all the other ones we have. It's a VivoBook. The only thing that's weird about the new one is there's like a yellow outline around the Enter key. So we're going to be debuting those new ones next week as part of our Ultimate Upgrade sale that's coming out next week. So see, when you listen to the After Schrock, you get information that nobody else knows. Do you know why we have 20 computers in the service center and why I need my son to come in and help me build them? Because we're trying to get the Ultimate Upgrade computers finished so they're in stock this year so you can take them home with you when you buy them. If you've never heard of the Ultimate Upgrade before, it's a sale that we do every spring. And it's not the ultimate upgrade because it's a holiday special or anything crazy like that. It's a normal computer. It's basically our Boundless desktop or our Resolute laptop, and it's on sale. And so this one is actually cheaper than what the Ultimate Upgrade. The Ultimate Upgrade we're guessing is going to come out at right at $499 this year for your choice desktop or laptop, which has been. I've been ordering parts for the Ultimate Upgrade since January, guys, because the chip shortages are that real. Just to get, and we're only going to have like 20 of them to start the sale. Just to get 20 processors, I had to order in January. It's ridiculous. So we've got more processors coming, just in case we sell more than 20, which we usually do. But I didn't want to buy 100 of these things and then end up, especially at the prices I'm having to pay for the processors, and then end up with a bunch left over because everyone's like, oh, I just bought a computer last year. But the whole point of the Ultimate Upgrade is there comes a point in a computer's life where upgrading it doesn't make sense anymore. And then it ends up like that caller said at the end of the program, sitting in, what was his name? Kyle. Sitting in the house, eventually ending up in a recycling bin or a landfill somewhere. So the Ultimate Upgrade sale is a chance for you to trade in any old computer you might have laying around. We don't care if it works or it doesn't work. The reason this is the Ultimate Upgrade, we're not going to take any parts from your old computer and make it into a new computer. The Ultimate Upgrade is just replacing the whole computer. And that's why this is the Ultimate Upgrade. So it doesn't matter what you trade in. You can trade in a desktop and buy a laptop. You can trade in a laptop and buy a desktop. You can trade in a VTech computer, a little kid's laptop thing. I don't care, and get a new computer. We've had people trade in some crazy wackadoo stuff. It was so cool. We got a Commodore 64 last year on the trade-in, and it literally was like mint condition in the box. It had the tape drive. You'd have thought my technicians were looking at dinosaur bones. I mean, they were like, whoa. And I'm like, I had that when I was, I had something similar to that when I was a kid. They had the printer. I mean, it was like, I felt like I should take it to like the antique mall and put it in a booth. Excuse me. It was phenomenal. So anyway, that was pretty cool to see. But we get some crazy things traded in. But if you're looking for an inexpensive laptop, the 2020 Resolute will be cheaper than the Ultimate Upgrade laptop when we release that next week. So definitely jump on that. We have 7 of them left according to the website right now. Alrighty. So that was for you, Bryce. According to Kim Commando, the highest watched gaming website is chess.com. Huh. Who'd have knew? That can't be true. Highest watched gaming website. So I'm trying to think of how they broke this down. A website. So if you're watching video on a website, then maybe yes. But you could also make the argument that Twitch is a website too, with multiple channels for games, and I don't know. But that's cool that many people watch chess. My wife and I finally sat down and watched The Queen's Gambit, and because neither one of us are big chess players, right? And so it didn't really appeal to us as a chess star, blah, 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 blah. It was absolutely amazing, guys. Even if you're not, and my wife's like, I don't even know what chess is. Like, they're talking about, like, oh, he's forcing the fork. And my wife was like, does that painful? Like, What do you mean he's forcing the fork? So even if you don't know anything about chess, she loved it. It's an amazing story of human perseverance, overcoming obstacles, and just genuine human care. I mean, it's a really, really good movie. Or good miniseries. It's a number of shows. So you can get a number of nights of watching out of it, or you can binge it all today. However you do your thing. All right, Mary says she brought a preventative maintenance on the August 22nd and forgot to use it till now. Can I bring it in? Oh yeah, Mary, especially for you. If you bring it in, we're very, very lenient. I'm not a big fan of taking money for people for things and then not giving them the value for that. The problem is if we don't put an expiration date on it, people will just come in like 5 years from now. I bought this thing like 17 years ago and I want to use it now. And you're like, no. That was 17 years ago. So basically you bought it August 22nd of 2020. They're supposed to be good for 6 months, so it expired technically right around, January? Wait, you're not even expired yet. August, September, October, November, December, January, February. You're good until February 22nd of 2021. So yeah, you're good through the 20. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're expired because that's the 28th. I see. Never mind. Sorry, I was thinking March. Yeah, definitely, Mary. Just bring it in. We'll take care of you. We'll take, especially just a few days. We'll take care of you on that. All right. Richard says I've raised 4 boys. They all acted that way at that age, and then one day they became normal. That's what everybody keeps telling me. One day he's just gonna willingly get out of bed, and waking him up right now is like slapping. You could slap him with a wet towel, and he would not get out of bed. And he sleeps all night. It's just he's that tired, I guess. I don't know. And, he's not a morning guy. He's a night owl. My wife is a night owl. I always thought I was a night owl, but as I'm getting older, I tend to be waking up earlier and staying up later. So I guess I'm just I think they call that burning the candle at both ends, where you stay up late and you get up early. But I'm not doing very productive things in the late hours or the early hours. Mostly my wife and I spend the late hours just having some together time because, you're doing kids and life and work and stuff. And then, you don't have time to sit down together and actually enjoy each other's company. So we get to do that in the morning time. When I can anyway, I try to get up and take care of the kids when I'm not going to work or whatever, so my wife can sleep in a little bit. But she's not necessarily a morning person either. Lou, on the other hand, my youngest, that kid, I swear he hears a rooster in the morning, and he's like, let's get to start on the day. And you're like, no, go back to sleep. It's 3:30 in the morning. All righty, let's see. What do you think about people moving away from Lastpass? Yeah, I saw an article about this, and I remember I looked into it, and I can't remember why they were moving away. So let me do a quick refresh on my memory here. Leaving LastPass, how to get your passwords out. Oh, that's right. They're changing the free offering. In light of a few different ways, let's see. Let's take a look at that. LastPass changes its free offering. Not really feeling like paying $36 a year for the premium service. Here are some alternatives. Okay. So LastPass was a password management tool that has been around forever and lots of people are using. They got to find a way to make money or they're going to go under. And so they've started charging $36 a year. I can tell you, I got a physical password thing I was testing out called AnyKey. I wouldn't recommend buying it. I don't think it's not changing my world like they promised. They promised it would open my car for me. And my car don't open with my EverKey. So anyway, they said anything you could open with Bluetooth, you can open with an EverKey. And that's simply not true. And I've emailed them and never hear back. And, it was like I spent some money on it. Don't buy things you see on Facebook, okay? Just don't. It's never a good, don't do it. Don't do it. The only thing that's good that I ever bought from Facebook was a Remarkable tablet. That thing was freaking awesome. Love it. Otherwise, don't buy things from Facebook. It's all garbage. It's all garbage. I bought one of those clear face masks at the beginning of the pandemic that goes over your face so that people can still see your mouth moving and stuff. I thought I'd try it out. It'd be good for the service centers because we're providing service to people. It'd be nice to be a human being behind the mask, right? And they're doing the videos, and the guy's like talking, and then when he wants to drink his coffee, he like flips it up and then drinks his coffee and flips it down again. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, right? Why isn't it fogging up when he breathes? Answer, because he's not breathing when they're filming. He's literally just moving his lips and not exhaling. Probably has to flip it up and take a breath and flip it down for take 2. I got mine, and of course it took like 9 months to get it. So the pandemic's pretty much over, right? I get this mask and I put it on my face, and it immediately just goes completely like fog. And I'm like, the whole point was you could see my face, and now you can't see my face. This is so stupid. Threw it in the trash. Another $30 on Facebook wasted down the tubes. So anyway, as far as Lastpass goes, they're charging for the service. If you really like Lastpass, if it is making your life easier, if you enjoy using it, it's $36 a year, guys. And that's the thing, there is no such thing as a free lunch. If Lastpass doesn't make money selling you a product or a service, they're going to have to make money selling your data. And what data do they have? They have your freaking passwords. They can't sell those, right? But they can sell that you have accounts on certain websites. They could use that information to build an advertising profile for you and sell access to that advertising profile to Google or Facebook or whoever else will buy it, or InfoUSA or whoever. It's $36. I mean, if you're willing to walk over $36, maybe you can't afford it legitimately, and I totally understand that. $36 a year is what, $3 a month? To not have to remember passwords and to have all of your passwords be secure, strong passwords. Yeah, with my EveryKey, I got a year of their service for free, but then I'll have to start paying for my password vault after that. Probably won't, just because I don't really like it's not what I thought it was going to be, honestly. Alrighty. Hey, Janet, good to see you. All right, can't even get verified on PayPal for an account to buy crypto there, even though I have had a PayPal account itself for over a decade. Brian, I feel you. I wouldn't buy crypto on PayPal, honestly. One of the things that no one tells you is that you can't take the crypto off of PayPal. You can sell the crypto for dollars and take the dollars off of PayPal, but you can't actually withdraw your crypto. Same thing with Robinhood. You can't actually withdraw your crypto and keep it. So if you're purely day trading cryptocurrency and you want to buy Bitcoin because you think it's going to appreciate and you're going to sell it like when it goes up $1,000 or something or $2,000, then PayPal's fine for that. If you're buying Bitcoin because you think it's going to be $300,000 a coin by the end of next year, which is what I personally believe, it could be as high as $1 million by that time. If you think that's going to happen, you're a fool to sell your crypto. Don't sell it. Now, if you have the poo coins, Monero, things like that, sell those. You go for good Dogecoin, sell your Dogecoin. It's all-time highs. But if you have, pretty much Bitcoin or Ethereum, you might want to hang on to some of those. Just saying. But I wouldn't use PayPal to buy the crypto. Ronald, Thor. Look at this stock, WRAP. They make non-lethal restraint device. Price looks good. And with the attitude toward cops, it seems like it might take off. What cops? Oh, man, I heard a news story. Illinois passed a whole bunch of... They basically made cash bail. Like, they got rid of cash bail. So you get arrested. Let's say you knock some old man down on the street corner and take his wallet. And then you get arrested. Then you get processed, and then you get booked. They take your pictures and all that stuff, and then you get a court date, and then you get released because there is no cash bail anymore. So then you're out, and guess what? You're going to jail anyway, right? So you may as well go knock somebody else down and take their lunch money. I mean, it's the most ludicrous thing ever, and there's all kinds of laws in Illinois that were passed here just in the last week. Is what I heard on the radio anyway. I haven't looked into the actual the bills and everything myself to confirm that. But they were interviewing police chiefs from precincts in surrounding states. And they said the police chiefs were saying, we are getting the best and the brightest of Illinois' law enforcement officers leaving Illinois and coming to our states. They're leaving Chicago. They're done. They're just done. So yeah, I could see him giving some kind of non-lethal restraint. Well, first of all, non-lethal restraints device. What is it? Isn't it handcuffs, a non-lethal restraint, a zip tie, a non-lethal restraint? What's the lethal restraint? The knee on the neck? I mean, that's, I get it, but man, or do you mean like something to stop somebody, like a taser kind of thing? But anyway, the long and the short of it is police morale is in the toilet right now in some of these larger metropolitan areas. So if you were looking to hire police officers or a new police chief like the city of Lincoln is looking for right now, I got to take a survey for the city of Lincoln this week, Lincoln, Nebraska, where we have a service center. And the survey was, what are you looking for in a police chief? And half of the questions had something to do with social justice. And you could either say it was strongly important to me or least important to me or most important or least important. So you answer all the questions, and then who knows if they're ever going to listen to the surveys or if they've already made a decision. And this is just their community feedback. Who knows who's going to tabulate? It's a Survey Monkey survey, so I don't know, whatever. Thor, would you recommend a Mac Mini that has the M1 chip? I'd recommend any Mac with that M1 chip. Those things are flippin' revolutionary. They're also flippin' expensive, but they are flippin' revolutionary. If you're going to own a Mac, get one with an M1. That's good stuff. All right, John says, hi, Thor. My high school football coach moved me from receiver to the offensive line because he said I had cast iron hands. Is that anything like the diamond hands you spoke of on Compute This? Very similar. It's kind of we had a comment on the Facebook feed. If you were listening to the radio, it probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, but if you were following the Facebook feed, it made a little more sense maybe. So the big thing, you've heard about the Wall Street Bets forum on Reddit, where they talk about the stocks they're going to go after or whatever. Well, they have a saying called diamond hands. In other words, no matter how low the price goes, no matter how crazy the volatility gets, I'm going to have diamond hard hands. I am not a weak hand. I'm not a paper hand. I'm not going to sell at the first sign of a price drop. I'm not a punk. So diamond hands insinuates that you're going to hold forever, which of course we all know is not true. Everybody lets it go at some point, but diamond hands, that's where that came from. Alrighty, let's see here. KJ Pierce, my first home computer was a Commodore VIC-20 pre-64. That was mine too. I got my Commodore VIC-20 used in a secondhand store in Tacoma, Nebraska. Oh, that store's not there anymore, by the way. I drove through Tacoma a few months back and I looked to see if it was still there, and it's long gone. One step above speaking spells. Yeah, it was bad. Like you got your computer and you're like, this is so awesome. You're like, what can I do with it? You're like, nothing. Oh wait, what's this book? How to program. Oh, I have to write the software. Okay, this is so cool. And you're like, my parents are probably looking at me like, hey, he's doing something educational, right? I'm typing on the if-then statements and learning logic from a book, and typing a computer program. Yeehaw. I've used Lastpass for years. It's also nice to be able to print out the passwords. Yes, it is. Can I bring a tablet in for the ultimate upgrade? That's a great question, and I have no problem with that. We don't actually use parts from the computers, guys. They just go to the recycling place. So on one hand, this is kind of our... we want to make sure every year that we recycle more e-waste than we generate. It's really important to us from and it's not a social virtue signaling kind of thing. It's a responsibility thing. Number one, if you don't take responsibility for your actions, your corporate actions, responsibility will be imposed upon you. It is no different than being a child. So if we don't choose to recycle and solve the problem of e-waste going into landfills ourselves, the state of Nebraska or the state of Iowa will solve it for us. That has already happened in the state of Wisconsin, for example. So yeah, we don't want to have to pay a tax based on the weight of every computer we produce, which is a losing game anyway, because computers get lighter every year, and what are people recycling? The old heavy ones, So it's like you're paying a tax on the weight of the computers that you produce. The idea here is they want to get Dell and HP and the big companies to pay. But there's no way to do that without snaring companies like Schrock as well. And then we end up paying prices. The recycling costs when the Nebraska proposed bills in the past were so extreme, I actually had to go testify in front of the legislature and say, if you pass this, we will stop selling computers. Literally half of the people on the panel owned Schrock modular computers. And I'm like, we won't be able to produce computers if this goes through, guys. Sorry. It didn't go through. Yay. But we still have to be responsible. We still have to do the right thing. So the right thing for us, we have a revenue neutral way. So it doesn't cost us any money at the end of the day. We make enough money from the scrap metals to pay for the labor and the transport fuel and stuff like that. So it's zero net effect on our income. But the outcome is, we recycled literally, it was something like a T-Rex worth of e-waste last year, or roughly the size of like 2 circus elephants or something crazy in e-waste last year. And, part of it was the ultimate upgrade sale. So if you trade in a tablet, I have no problem with that. All right. What hours does Jacob work? He does not have a defined schedule yet because, Carolyn, it depends on his school. So being homeschooled, he has the ability to do his schoolwork when he chooses. Sometimes he likes to put it off to the end of the day. Sometimes the end of the day comes and there's something more important going on, and the schoolwork gets pushed to tomorrow. And as we all know, if you let this go too long, you get backlogged. And that, I'm still waiting for his World War I diorama, by the way. I keep reminding him about it. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it. But eventually, he's got to do his work. He's got to do his schoolwork because he's a student first. This is a part-time job. And yes, I appreciate the help, and he really enjoys coming and helping out in the service center, and he's good at it. But the school stuff comes first. You still have to do your work, your schoolwork. Then if you want to use your free time to come help in the shop, that's fine. But just like if you're behind on your schoolwork, I'm not going to let you play video games. If you're behind on your schoolwork, we're not going to let you come to the office and work. So typically he will be in there usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. It seemed to be the trending days for him. Monday I'm usually in Des Moines, so he can't come in that day because I still, somebody's got to bring him in and drop him off, pick him up and all that. So Monday he's usually not in there. Tuesday he'll come in with me. I bribe him with breakfast to get him out of bed, go to First Watch, get some eggs. He gets biscuits and gravy, though. He doesn't like eggs. And then, we'll go into the shop and build some stuff and have him home by 3 so he can do his schoolwork and then have some free time at the end of the day for himself. So I would say best chance will be Tuesday or Thursday, but I can't guarantee that. What can you recycle with me? Well, we don't take paper. You can recycle anything computer related. So if you have keyboards, mice, printers, print cartridges, cords, computers, screens, I'm trying to think of other computer related stuff, discs, tapes, no satellite dishes, no VCRs, no cordless phones. If you have cell phones, tablets, we will recycle those and make sure that they get wiped for you as well. Big things that come out of this, guys. Number one, the lithium gets harvested out of those batteries. Lithium is getting hard to find, especially with the electric vehicle market. So the prices for lithium are going up. People are willing to pull the lithium out of those batteries. Number two, some of the recycled components actually get recycled as whole components. The recycling company, for example, will sell, DVD drives or, things like that, processors, as whole units without crushing them and grinding them into their component pieces because they're worth more as an assembled product, especially right now during the chip shortage. Other things like the hard drives, we will wipe your hard drives before they leave the service center. No hard drives leave our service center with customer data on them. Then when they get them, the place we take it is Sadov Recycling in La Vista, and they are an accredited recycler. So they are required to also wipe the hard drives before they do anything with them. Even if they're going to grind them up, they have to programmatically erase them first. So your data security is A-OK recycling with Schrock, because even if one of us makes a mistake, the other one's got it covered. We're good. So you can bring any of that stuff in. The only thing we charge for are monitors or all-in-one computers. If you have an iMac, I have to charge you $15. If you have a monitor, we don't care how big it is or what the size is, we have to charge you $15. No, monitors are not televisions, especially giant 42-inch rear projection televisions in wood oak enclosures. We don't recycle those, ever, at any price. Those are heavy. You throw that in the back of an F-350 and see how your back feels afterward. Somebody brought it there, though. How'd they get it to us? What about cameras? Yeah, we'll take cameras. Digital cameras are fine, too. They're close enough, so no big deal. We don't pick through your recycles and say, no, yeah. And if you did bring in a VCR, one of my guys might just chuck it off to the side. But we just don't want to become known for the place that if you take VCRs, why don't you take TVs? If you take TVs, why don't you take, stupid things like, we'll take your old modems and your old routers and things like that. All those AC adapters and charger cords you don't need anymore. You can recycle those with us, and we'll take all that stuff. So anyway, yeah, you mean like a cloth with a cloth? Yeah, we'll wipe it with a cloth, and then wait, what is that? Oh, it's a political joke. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so updates on everything that's going on. Bitcoin dropped nearly 20% this week. Do you have diamond hands? Basically, this is completely normal. A lot of people are very new to cryptocurrency, and they're applying Wall Street investment logic to this, and they're saying this is like a Bitcoin recession. No, this is nothing. If you go back and look historically, Bitcoin has regular 30% cutbacks as it goes up in price. And the 30% cutbacks are actually necessary to shake out the weak hands, to get the Bitcoin into the strong hands of people who are going to hold it. That reduces the supply of Bitcoin on the market, and the price goes up. Trust me, guys, on this, the price will go up a lot. Don't sell your Bitcoin. Don't sell it. If you did already sell it, buy back in now. Wait for your next $500 or $800 dip, and then buy back in, because at some point there isn't going to be a dip. I thought about dropping some coin as it was going down because I figured it's going to go down at least 20%. But I bet like I said, I have to learn these lessons every time, every few years. When Thor starts trading, Thor ends up with less Bitcoin because Thor is not a good trader. I'm not an investment advisor, guys. I'm not a stock picker. I'm not a stock broker. But I can identify trends. And I'm telling you, if you hold on to your Bitcoin, you'll be thanking me in a year. Do you honestly think that companies aren't hoovering up this Bitcoin that's floating around right now? Do you notice that there's a delay in the reporting between Bitcoins that get purchased and sent off to these custody wallets and when it happens? So we didn't know that Tesla bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin until they filed their 10K statement. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, if we would have known that in December, the price would have rocketed in December. So now there's all these companies sprouting up on the internet that are Bitcoin, blockchain analytic companies that are watching the wallets of Coinbase and the wallets of Tesla and things like that, the known wallets, to see and what the inflows and the outflows are, to see kind of what maybe is going on behind the scenes. Very technical, very hard to understand, but trust me, guys, large investment firms are buying Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin right now, and they see this as a discount, as a dip. They're going to buy the dip. Don't sell your Bitcoin. Because once these guys buy this Bitcoin, they're probably not going to sell it either. They're not buying it to day trade Bitcoin. Tesla is not buying Bitcoin to trade it and make a profit. They're buying Bitcoin because they believe Bitcoin is going to be a fundamentally valuable thing in the future, and they want it on their balance sheet. Now, that doesn't mean they won't ever sell their Bitcoin, but they're not buying it in order to make a short-term gain and sell it. They're buying it because they were adding a long-term asset to their balance sheet, just like a company would, add any other investment to their balance sheet. Do you really trust BlockFi to be around for the long term? That's a great question. In the crypto world, handing your crypto off to any third party is considered super duper risky. Literally, it would be like you having a cousin named Vinny, and your cousin Vinny has a great investment opportunity, and he just needs $30,000. So you give him $30,000, and Vinny says, I'm going to pay you interest on this, and he sends you a statement every month with your interest, and you're watching your investment grow. Meanwhile, Vinny, who knows what Vinny's done with the $30,000? It could be gone. So the reason that I trust BlockFi is that I've looked into both sides of their business. Number one, they're backed by major players. So it's not a fly-by-night thing. They're an established major company in distributed finance. When you sign up for a BlockFi account, you can apply for a loan, right? Click on the Apply for a Loan button, even if you're not going to get a loan. Click Apply for a Loan and look at what it costs to get a loan. So the idea behind BlockFi is it happens every tax season. People have to sell off their crypto to raise money to pay taxes on the stuff that they're trading taxes. They didn't set money aside, so they got to sell Bitcoin or whatever they've got to raise the cash to pay the taxes. So what if you didn't have to do that? What if you could go to BlockFi, deposit your Bitcoin there as collateral, to get a US dollar loan. And they will hold on to the Bitcoin as collateral as you make payments in US dollars on your US dollar loan, and you will pay roughly a 9% interest rate for that loan. Your interest rate will be higher or lower depending on how much Bitcoin you give them. If you give them enough Bitcoin to secure the majority of the loan, your interest rate comes down a little bit. When I deposit Bitcoin with BlockFi, I get paid around 6.5%. So that means there's roughly a 2.5% spread. The interest rate can go higher than 9%. It can go all the way up into the 20s, depending on how little Bitcoin you want to stake as collateral for your loan. But they're making at least a 2.5% float on that. It's pretty ingenious. It's a way for you to sell your crypto without actually selling your crypto. It's a solid business model. It's not something for nothing. That you know where the interest is coming from. It's from them making loans. This is how banks have worked for millennia, right? Can the bank fail? Yeah. Would I lose my Bitcoin if the bank fails? Yeah. Do I have all my Bitcoin in BlockFi? No. I have a limit. I limit my BlockFi account to be so many Bitcoin, and then after that, they give you one free monthly withdrawal. And if my account, after interest payment, goes over the amount of Bitcoin that is in that wallet, I transfer it to my self-custody wallet. So yeah, it's an investment. I am literally earning 6% interest in Bitcoin, paid in Bitcoin, which I believe is going to be worth beaucoup bigger dollars in the future. So if I make $100 in interest in a month, or $1,000 in interest in a month on my BlockFi account, paid in Bitcoin, of course, and Bitcoin goes up tenfold, I mean, where else in the world am I going to be able to deposit some money and get that much interest? $10,000 interest in a month? You got to be kidding me. That's amazing. And of course that's all based on what ifs and futures and all kinds of stuff having to happen. But here's the thing. That's why I said don't put all your retirement money into crypto, guys. You don't want to chase this. This is something that if you research it and you say, yes, there is a valid use case here. So, for example, I shared during the show that it's not cost effective to send small Bitcoin transactions. It would cost you $60 to buy a $5 cup of Starbucks coffee in fees. Bitcoin is not used for day-to-day, everyday payments. You will pay a huge processing fee. Will that always be the case? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends. Is Bitcoin a store of value, aka gold? Now, I saw a great article, and again, I don't want to talk about crypto the entire show here because it's not a crypto show, and a lot of people don't really care about crypto, but the Bitcoin and the US dollar have a lot in common. Both are virtually digital currencies. I think the US dollar is 99.6% digital right now. So they're both essentially digital currencies. They're both essentially don't exist. There is not a dollar, even a paper dollar, sitting for every dollar that's in circulation. So if you're hung up on the fact that Bitcoin's not real, well, your US dollars aren't real either, but yet you believe in those. Both of them don't have any intrinsic backing. There is no guarantor with gold or silver or anything sitting behind them. They are both intrinsically, for what they are, valueless. The only difference between the US dollar and Bitcoin that makes a difference is the fact that Bitcoin can't be inflated. Now, when I say it can't be inflated, let me throw an asterisk on there because anything can happen. We've heard of hard forks, right? So anything can happen where if everybody who owns Bitcoin gets together and says, we want to double the amount of Bitcoin in circulation so that those miners can keep on mining, now there's 42 million Bitcoin in existence when there was only supposed to be 21 million. It could happen, but you have to ask yourself, why would anybody with a substantial holding of Bitcoin vote to devalue their Bitcoin by 50%? Why would you do that? You wouldn't do that. So it's not going to happen. So the supply of Bitcoin is 21 million, except it's not, because over time Bitcoin has been lost. So if you send Bitcoin to the wrong address on the network, it gets lost on the chain. It never gets to where it's going, and it's gone. You can't reclaim it. That's how it was in the early days. It's a little bit safer now, but still, Bitcoin gets lost every day. So there's never going to be 21 million in Bitcoin circulating. It's going to be less than that. 21 million Bitcoin. Let's do that real quick. I wonder how many millionaires there are on the planet. People who have liquid net worth of $1 million or more. Do you think there's 21 million of them? I think there's more than that. I wonder. Let's see if somebody has a number on that. How many millionaires exist? How many millionaires are there? Oh, in the U.S., let's see. There are 12 million millionaires in the U.S. So that's half the supply of Bitcoin. How many millionaires are there in the world? There were 47 millionaires in the world. 47 million millionaires in the world. So, and that was in 2019. So 47 million millionaires in the world. And each one of them wants one Bitcoin. They can't have it. They can each have half a Bitcoin. Each. But you have some of these trust funds hoovering up, 10,000, 20,000 Bitcoin at a time. So they're boxing out 10,000 millionaires from having their Bitcoin, their one Bitcoin. Does it start to make sense now how limited this is, how short in supply it is, that once it's generated, it's gone. And if you have it, you have it, and if you don't, you don't. And if you don't have it, you're going to pay a very high price to get some. And if you have some, you're going to be able to liquidate that asset at a very high nominal price in whatever currency you're changing it into, whether it's products, services, US dollars, rubles, euros, or whatever else kind of currency there is. That's the play. That's what you're buying into when you buy crypto, in my opinion. So I don't know, guys. I was thinking about this on the weekend. I was going through my head because we talked kind of jokingly last week about maybe we should do like a special episode, a special Compute This episode, like a Wednesday night or something, where it's literally Bitcoin from start to finish, like a produced special. That's like, this is what it is, this is how you buy it, this is where you put it, this is how you grow it, this is when you sell it, like Bitcoin. I could put something together like that. It would be a lot of work. It would be like a week of work for me to put that together into a produced video format. But I could do it. But, people who like crypto will watch like anything that has to do with crypto, and they're buying Bitcoin already. I only want to do it if it's actually going to make a difference for people. If people are actually going to, choose whether or not to purchase cryptocurrency in the future based on the video. So if there's genuine interest from a large number of you here in the comments, I'll make that video. If I just get a couple of people who are like, yeah, I don't have any Bitcoin, or I have a lot of Bitcoin, I'd love to hear about it. You already know. You already have the Bitcoin. You already know. But there are a lot of rookie mistakes that people will make, like buying Bitcoin on PayPal or buying it through Robinhood, where you can't get it off the platform. You can get the money off the platform, but not the Bitcoin. So if your objective is to buy and hold so you can watch it appreciate, which is what I think is going to happen, then yeah, this is what we need to do. If not, if you're day trading it, you can buy it on those platforms. So just let me know if it's something you want me to do. All right, let me jump back into comments here. Do you really trust BlockFi? The answer is, they've paid me interest every time it's been owed. I've made withdrawals from their platform. I've traded on their platform. So far, it seems pretty legit. So yeah, I kind of do trust them. Where is a good place to buy Bitcoin? Never bought any before. All right, number one, best, safest, recommended place to buy Bitcoin is Coinbase.com. Coinbase.com. They're about to go public, by the way. Coinbase.com. You can buy Bitcoin, you can sell Bitcoin, you can trade Bitcoin. That's what I have their app on my phone. It's what I use when I want to check the price of Bitcoin. I open their app and see what the price is. Coinbase, their professional trading desk, is what supplies Grayscale and all these other, and Tesla, with when they want to buy $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. They don't go onto Coinbase's account and buy it one Bitcoin at a time. They go to Coinbase Pro, they get a broker, and they find $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and they acquire it. Let's see. As Warren Buffett says, if you don't understand it, then don't buy it. I don't like risk plus the trouble while buying and selling them. You know, this is a great example for Richard. Richard is not in a place in his investing world where he's comfortable with the level of risk that Bitcoin has. Now, what is the level of risk? Well, you're talking about 30%, multiple 30% corrections in a rally. Well, a 200% price rally, you're going to have multiple 30% corrections along the way. That takes a strong stomach, guys. I mean, especially if you're investing retirement money, that takes a really strong stomach. If you're investing pension money, that takes a really strong fund manager stomach. If you're not comfortable with that level of risk, don't do it. Don't do it, because I can guarantee you, if you're thinking, no, you won't be happy when it happens. You'll be thrilled. You'll be thrilled that you're in it when it's going up 200%, but when it drops down, you just don't look. Just find something else to go read a book, go watch Queen's Gambit. My wife and I are watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix right now. With a name like Peaky Blinders, I never even looked at it. I'm like, that's just stupid. It's actually really good. So, go watch Peaky Blinders, go do what you're going to do. Just don't look at the Bitcoin, because it was down 2% yesterday again. It's in that 30% correction. It hasn't hit 30 yet. It's got a little bit further to fall. If it starts dropping below 20, that's when I'm going to start to be a little like, what's going on here? But trust me, as soon as you sell it, it'll rocket back up again. That's just how life works. For me, anyway, that's how life works. I see there would be a great desire to form a group to discuss Bitcoins. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of those, though. I mean, there's lots of Bitcoin groups out there. The problem is that, the natural evolution of groups that talk about cryptocurrency, it starts out with interested people that want to learn, and then the community starts to grow. And then when you have a community of interested people trying to find ways to invest their money, guess what happens? There's a reason I don't tag the After Schrock anymore with hashtag Bitcoin when I'm going to talk about it. You remember the scammer we got in like 3-4 weeks ago? That was literally like, you send me Bitcoin, I invest for you. And you're like, no, you scammer, what are you doing? That's eventually where it goes. So, I don't know that I'd want to create a special group just for it, because then there's also the expectation that we're going to police the group, that we're going to create content for the group. But if we were going to do a Bitcoin 101, basically, I'd be willing to do that as a special episode of Compute This. All right, so Myron is interested. Janet would be interested. Bitcoin video, Richard says he's interested. Deborah says she'd like to see it. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. John, very interested, says Roy. But your group would be one that people would be comfortable talking to you about it and your advice. Well, that's true. That's true, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not a market mover. I'm not a, you can go on to, there's a Wall Street, there's a Reddit for that. The Wall Street Bets Reddit, they have one called like Crypto Bets. It's the same thing, where they decide what crypto coin they're going to pump up that day, and then they dump it. Public library has many audio, ebooks, and regular books on cryptocurrency for beginners and advanced. They do. So yeah, I would, anytime, if you want to get general knowledge about how cryptocurrencies work, books are going to be great. If you want to get up to the minute information about what's going on with a cryptocurrency, books are not to be desired. So, for example, in 2017, we had a huge run-up in Bitcoin, right? The price was going through the roof. The only stable coin back then, because you see, you can't, like on BlockFi, you can't change your crypto into dollars, right? They don't do that. They just do crypto. So you can change it from cryptocurrency into stable coin. And a stable coin, the concept behind that is we have $10 million in the bank, and for every dollar we have in the bank, we have released one stable coin. And so you can always be rest assured that our stable coins are backed by a dollar of U.S. currency in the bank. Therefore, our stable coin price should always be equal to $1, which is why they call it a stable coin, which is where people park their money in between trades in crypto. They don't trade it for dollars, they trade it for stable coins. Because if you trade for dollars, you're suddenly a bank, and nobody wants to get the banking licenses. But if you keep it all in crypto, you don't need those licenses. So anyway, Tether was the only stable coin in 2017. So as Bitcoin was rocketing up to $20,000, Tether was the fuel behind that. Well, you see, something happened at Tether. I don't know what went wrong, or if it was just greed, or what happened. They started inflating their currency. Tether is a stable currency. They're supposed to have $1 in the bank for every Tether coin. But they didn't. They created Tether without having the underlying asset in the bank. When they were attempted to be audited, they had an independent auditing firm come in that they hired, that they fired then before they released their final report. Then they did their own internal audit and released that said everything was just hunky-dory. It's widely believed that that Tether was inflated during the run-up, and that was one of the reasons that Bitcoin ran up so fast, is because basically Tether was printing Tether coins and using those Tether coins to buy Bitcoin on the hope that Bitcoin would go up, that they could then sell the Bitcoin for Tether, retire the Tether coins that they created, and use the bigger pile of Tether coins now to legitimately trade. They wanted to get to leverage their position, basically, when they weren't supposed to. And I think they did. And so just now they're starting to settle that lawsuit, and it looks like they're going to get away with a slap on the wrist for doing that. Which means crypto's here for real, right, guys? I mean, Wall Street firms, hedge funds, they don't go to jail. They get don't do that again, please. And they, okay, no problem, Daddy. And they go on and do their thing. So yeah, crypto must be here for good if that's happening to Tether, and that's what's happening to Tether. They're just going to get a little slap on the wrist. They're going to pay a little fine, and they're going to move on with life with a lot of extra money in the pocket. So nothing new under the sun, guys. It's the same thing every day. It's just this is a different way of doing it. And the huge advantage here, okay, I was into this when I was holding Bitcoin when Bitcoin was not accepted by Wall Street at all. I remember watching in 2017 while I was working on data recoveries in the Omaha Service Center, the New York State Senate hearings on cryptocurrency finance, and can we have a Bitcoin ETF, and can we let Wall Street invest in Bitcoin and things like that. So I remember watching all these things as this was kind of the legwork has been done. So this has actually been in the works for 4 or 5 years, guys. This is not suddenly like poof new. They've been building to this, and this is one of those weird opportunities where you could invest a smallish amount of money and see dramatically outsized gains over time. Like any investment, there is the risk that you're going to lose your money, though. And if you take your investment advice from a computer repair guy, you get what you deserve, right? Who is a self-admitted guy who cannot trade to save his life. I lost $2,000 in the stock market, and I lost like 0.7 Bitcoin trying to trade Bitcoin. Because when the market was going up. And as soon as I said, oh, it's just going to keep going up forever, I better buy back in now and ride the train, I bought back in, took my loss, and what did it do? If I would have just waited, I would have taken a much smaller loss, right? Because I bought back in at the high. So don't trade. I can't trade. I don't recommend you do it either. If you're smarter than me, go for it. Don't do it. I would advise you not to do it. But anyway, you make it simple. We would still have to be, well, then we can just do it on, maybe we could have like a meetup, right? I don't know, having a whole group that I have to police and maintain, because I'm telling you guys, like we'd have to have admins and stuff, and it would be, I'll think about it. It might just be easier to keep it loose and have like maybe a once a month special update episode or something that we do. I don't know. Then what would I talk about during the After Schrock, right? All right, let's see. Any other questions about things other than Bitcoin then? So, because I think it's been pretty clear here that people want to see the Bitcoin special episode. So we're going to do the special Bitcoin episode that tells you what Bitcoin is, where to buy it, how to buy it. I will probably have links somewhere. There's probably, what I'm thinking we're going to do with this, guys, since it's going to be a recorded event, I think we're going to have a page on the Schrock Innovations website for it on the do-it-yourself help section. That way I can also post an article underneath it, basically like a transcript, and I can put the links in there for you. So that when I say, here's the link to go do this, you could type, you don't have to like try to write it down off the screen. You can reference the article that's right underneath the video and do it later that way. I think that might be the best way to do it. So we'll definitely we'll work out the details on that and put something together for you. Oh no, I didn't mean in person. What I meant was a virtual meetup. Like maybe we have like a Wednesday night Bitcoin group, like the Elk Club, but on Facebook or something. I don't know. It's like time for the Bitcoin meeting. Oh gosh, we could elect elders. Yeah, we could wear funny hats. We could wear like Bitcoin symbols on them. It'd be super stupid. Oh golly, you guys get me in trouble. All right, so it's been an hour here, guys. I'm going to have to wrap it up shortly, but there was a couple things that I told you I was going to talk about on the After Schrock, so I want to make sure I get those in. Flying cars in Los Angeles. I saw this story and I was like, you got to be joking, right? But no, it's actually like a real thing. Flying cars over Los Angeles by 2024. A bold urban air mobility pledge could push a new form of transportation to the forefront. Flying cars got another step closer to reality when a prominent player in the space pledged to create an urban air mobility network over California's largest city by 2024. Archer, which is designing and developing electric vertical takeoff and landing (eVTOL) aircraft that can carry passengers for 60 miles at speeds of up to 150 miles an hour while producing minimal noise, is partnering with the city of Los Angeles on the project. This is like an Airbus, basically. You're going to get in it. You're not going to have your own air car, but it's going to be get in the flying vehicle and fly to where you're going and get off the flying vehicle like a bus line. The test bed is well chosen. Southern California has severe mobility challenges, including consistently gridlocked traffic, underutilized or poorly developed mass transit, and a seeming inability to make solutions like high-speed rail a reality. These conditions have left a wide open space for a technology class that in just the past couple of years has leapfrogged out of science fiction to become a promising alternative to terrestrial intra-city travel. In identifying our first city partnership, it was critical to have a shared vision, blah, 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 blah. Morgan Stanley estimates that sustainable air mobility will be a $15 trillion industry by 2040. As I wrote last month, Archer and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, FCA, recently entered into supply chain agreements to enable Archer to benefit from access to FCA's low-cost supply logistics, as well as advanced composite material know-how and engineering experience. So if you're looking for a long-term play on this, Chrysler Fiat might be a cheap way to get in. I don't know if Archer is publicly traded or not. I don't think it is. But anyway, flying cars. They're going to make them. It's 2021. I thought we were supposed to have these in 2000. They're behind. They're way behind. You can't blame COVID for this. You're behind. Also, NVIDIA is very excited. They expect their new crypto mining chip, which is basically just a graphics card modified for crypto mining, to bring in $50 million in the first quarter of this year. The chip maker estimates that crypto mining contributed $100 million to $300 million to its gaming segment in the fourth quarter. So basically, here's how this works. You get a graphics card to play video games on your computer, a powerful one, and then you take that graphics card and you use it to mine cryptocurrency. There you go. The graphics card, depending on how powerful one you get, can mine more cryptocurrency, and there are actually specialized rigs that have multiple graphics cards that can run all kinds of different cryptocurrency. So there you go. Now, the thing to consider here, when they make the mining cards, they're basically just graphics cards without the interfaces on the front. I've got a couple of these. They come with a 90-day warranty. They typically are less tweakable. You can't get under the hood and monkey with them a lot, which anybody who's doing this kind of work is always monkeying with their stuff. Because you got to get a little bit more hash rate for a little bit less power, and you're always trying to tweak it. So long story short, guys, I was talking to one of my buddies, and I said, hey, NVIDIA is going to make a new crypto mining card. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. NVIDIA is hoping that the crypto mining cards are going to alleviate the pressure on their gaming card divisions. Because if you want to buy a gaming computer right now, you literally can't buy a 3000 series NVIDIA card anywhere. They're just not available. Can't buy them. And if you can find them, they want 3 times retail, and retail's $900. You want to spend $3,000 on a graphics card. So if you are using it for mining, you're never going to make that back on that card. And if you aren't using it for mining, you must really love video games. You could buy 12 Xboxes. Come on. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see. But what's going to probably end up happening is it's not going to reduce the demand for their graphics cards, and they're going to sell out of crypto cards. So it's going to be another vertical for them. because people that can't afford the graphics cards or can't find the graphics cards will settle for the mining cards. If NVIDIA just put all their effort into producing graphics cards, I think it would be a more profitable win for them. But the thing about the mining cards, guys, is they only come with 90-day warranties, and mining is a very stressful activity on equipment. The nice thing about graphics cards is they come with a 1 to 3 year warranty. So if you push your card to the point where it blows up, you could send it back and they'll send you a new one. They can't really tell that you used it for mining, so they give you a new one. Well, the mining cards only have a 90-day warranty because they're meant for mining, therefore, which is normal in the mining industry. Therefore, when you blow it up, you're just stuck with a brick, and you can't send it back or do anything with it, which is less desirable, obviously. So the question is if the price difference between the two cards is only a few $100s, people are going to take the warranty for that price. Alrighty, that wraps up the stories that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, let me make sure I don't have any other comments here. We could do the next hour about the stimulus bill. What a joke! Yeah, it's. Did you hear that basically they brought earmarks back too? Now every legislature gets like 10 earmarks that they can stick into bills to bring some pork home to their states. I mean, it's full money press, guys. I mean, and here's the thing. I'm not alarmist about it. When it happens, you're not going to see it coming. There's no predicting it. But you can't keep doing this forever. You just can't. Mathematically, you can't. So at some point, we know this is going to stop working, and at some point, interest rates are going to go up. I don't think it's going to go over, go crazy now. It'll go up a little bit, but it's not going to go crazy. I'm just starting to refi my house right now, so I'm trying to lock in my 2.75 here and call it good. Down from 3.75, right? I mean, wow. But yeah, I don't think we're going to go like 10% interest rates or anything this year. But when it happens, it's going to happen quick. And I was telling, I've got a lot of younger guys that work for me, and some of them are moving up into more management roles, and they're getting married, and they're buying houses, and they're doing things, and they're adulting on a level they've never adulted on before. And I'm at that age where literally when I'm not around, they call me Daddy or Papa Schrock. So it's kind of weird, but anyway. So Papa Schrock comes in, and Junior Schrocks come to me and say, what should I do right now? I don't really have any crypto. I don't really have a retirement account. I said, well, the number one thing you should do is start your 401k right now. It's tax-free money, and there's a company match. Do that now. You're just leaving free money on the table. That's stupid. And you're paying taxes on money you shouldn't pay taxes on. Just go invest that first. Secondly, as far as crypto goes, pick out an amount that you can afford every month or every week or however often you want to do it. If it's $20 a month, it's $20 a month. Whatever. Make that commitment and get started doing it. You can always increase it later. Start. The wise man say first step in long journey, one step. I don't know. There's a saying, basically. Start. Move off the X, as they say in the military. So basically then there's going to come a point where the biggest lesson that I try to tell these kids is that I believe there is going to come a point in their lifetime where it is going to be more important to have things than to have money. And it's a crazy thought to have, because everyone's like, if I have money, I can do anything I want. Not true. If you have money that is valuable, you can do anything you want. So is it better to own an office building or to have the ability to buy an office building at a point in time? So you don't want to run yourself bankrupt. You have to keep some cash in the bank for emergencies and things like that. Like I got my appendix bill. And, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. We buy the best insurance that small businesses can buy for their employees. We have like 12 employees on the policy. We pay $7,000 a month for it. It's ridiculous. I'm paying $4,000 for my surgery. That was like a $33,000 surgery. Okay, so yay, I'm not paying $33,000. Boo that I'm paying $4,000. But hey, guess what? Our family max is only $8,000. My wife's going in for carpal tunnel surgery on Tuesday on her first wrist of 2. So we're going to hit our family max, and then eventually after that, everything will be free on the year, right? No, they changed the rules, you see. Now each individual person has an individual max, and there's a family max. So each individual person has to meet their individual maximum before the family maximum applies. And if all the individuals in the family flex up and meet the family maximum, but none of them meet the individual maximum. They have to pay until, so the individual max is like like $2,000 or something, and the family max is like $8,000. So I've hit my personal one, obviously, but I have not hit the family max because I had to pay in $4,000. That covers my personal one. So anything else that I have to do right now is not paid for because we haven't hit our family max yet. My wife, if we did hit the family max, my wife's surgery still wouldn't be paid for, at least the first $2,000 of it, because she has to pay her personal, and it applies to the kids too. Isn't that great? They always find a way to get you, right? So anyway, there's going to come a time when it's more important to have things than it is to have financialized investments, okay? So at some point, Thor's going to buy a building. That point is not today. Right now, Thor's like, okay, I got payroll, we got things to do, we had a caller call in during the show, wouldn't want to go on the air, but told us a joke about Manifest Destiny that was funny. It was really funny because my call screener didn't understand the joke. No, she was like, he was talking something about manifest. It didn't fit within the context of computer repair. She's like, he was talking about Manifest Destiny, so she didn't let him on the air. I'm like, oh, he means expanding Schrock, sea to shining sea, coast to coast, Manifest Destiny. And they thought it was pretty funny. And so I was like, oh, I got a chuckle out of it. But it's a dad joke, so dads chuckle at dad jokes. But that's what we're focused on right now is, the thing that I'm trying to grow is this company. Because it's more important to have things than it is to have a big fat bank account full of dollar bills in it. I'd like to have a little Bitcoin. I'd like to have a retirement account. I'm not saying, who knows? Because there's a saying also that says the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So you can't bet the farm that the whole world is going to blow up and buy your guns, your ammo, your food, and lock yourself up on the farm and wait for it to happen. You still have to be a contributing member of the game. You still have to play the musical chairs. But all I'm saying is it might be beneficial as you're playing musical chairs to have one of those little fishing camp stools with you, just in case there's no chair around when it's your turn to sit. Then you can pop your little fishing camp stool and sit on that, and at least you're not sitting on the floor. So have a little bit of crypto. Have a retirement account. I don't have to tell you guys that. So I'm telling these young employees of mine how to do this stuff, and they're starting to do it, and it's really, and then my son hears me telling, a district manager in my company about this stuff, and he said, this is the same stuff Dad's telling me at home, and all of a sudden it's real because I'm telling somebody else, not telling him, and so he's like, Dad, I think I want to put some of my money in crypto and into Bitcoin. And I'm like, well, you're going to put it in Bitcoin. It's a savings account. You're going to hold it. You're not going to spend it. You're not going to liquidate it to buy V-Bucks. You're not going to liquidate it to buy a headset. That it's literally a savings account that you're going to hold on to. Maybe when you're 18, you can decide what to do with it. Stock to flow model says by the time he's 18, 4 years from now, it should be $1 million a coin. So by that point, he will thank me, and then he can use it to pay for college, or a car, or a house, or whatever. Wow. When I was a kid, my dad saved all the money that anyone ever, when I was a baby, like people give you like $5 in a card or something, he took all that money and he put it in a savings account for me. When I was 18 years old, I had a car and a car payment, and I had $900 in a savings account. There was all those $5 bills and $10 bills that have been saved up over the years. And I paid off my car. And that was the first time I actually owned anything that was like a real asset. And I owned it. It was mine. I had to take care of it. I tell you, it's something. It's a feeling, So anyway, I better let it go. I better get going here. Let's see. How many pension funds in Omaha have failed and were not bailed out? Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Great Reset. Yeah, the Great Reset is definitely, Google it. I won't go into it now, but Google it. Get rid of credit card debt. Now, you see, Ronald, if you think it's an inflationary environment, getting rid of credit card debt is the wrong thing to do, because credit card debt will be cheaper to pay off later. Now, if your credit card debt is sitting there at 30% interest rates, get rid of credit card debt. Don't use your credit cards to buy Bitcoin and pay interest on the credit card debt. That's not smart. Total cost for my appendicitis and hospitalization and surgery in 1964 was $450. That's inflation right there. Yep, but a car will cost $500,000. Yeah, it could, I guess, but that's the thing. There's only 21 million Bitcoin out there, right? So it might cost you $500,000 to buy a car. But what if you were going to buy the car with the Bitcoin? How much would it cost in Bitcoin? Wouldn't be 500,000 Bitcoin. Just saying. So anyway, diversification. You know, there's a website out there that I read pretty much every night called zerohedge.com. It's an alternative finance website. If you try to share the stories on social media, it won't work because they've censored them all out. They were saying that Wuhan was a thing before it was a thing. They were saying that COVID was a thing before it was a thing. They're saying that herd immunity was a thing before it's a thing, that masks don't work before everyone realized that masks don't work. I shouldn't say that they don't work. That masks are being, the effectiveness of masks is being overstated. Because they do contribute. I mean, they do help, but they're not a preventative measure by any stretch of the imagination. So anyway, they were talking about all this stuff ahead. They also have some wackadoo guys on there. Don't read the comments. The comments are awful. But if you go in there and you read the stories that are in there, sometimes it gives you a little bit of a jump start on what's going on, or some explanations about what's going on, or some alternative reasons that you may not hear in mainstream media why things are happening. That website is called zerohedge.com. zerohedge.com. Because in the end, as their saying goes, everything goes to zero. Because, you die, right? So in the end, everything goes to zero. So, zero hedge. All right, got to roll, guys. Thor, my high school football coach moved me from receive. Yep. Oh, wait, hold on a second. It jumped me back to the top of the comments for something. Yeah, zerohedge.com. Thank you, Ronald. Appreciate it. All right, guys, got to roll. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep you posted on the... see, we stopped talking about crypto, and my viewership went down by 20 people. Interesting. You guys really do want to hear about this stuff, don't you? Honestly, that's surprising to me. I wouldn't have thought that that many Compute This listeners would want to hear about crypto at that level. So, all right, I will work on putting together the special crypto report from Schrock Innovations. So we can have a little special episode there. It will be a true test of my video editing capabilities. A video producer, I am not. I should pull Slate Advertising in on this and have them do it with me. But I'd have to pay them, and they're expensive. So, yeah, we don't know about that. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. See you next week.